Three of the things that I think are most important. We're in a really dire unemployment situation. Unemployment is still hovering near 12% in the state. So we've got to work on local jobs. And there's so many people out there suffering. So anything we can do to boost local business and make the local job environment is going to be better for the people in this district. The second thing we have to work on is a sustainable economy. And beautiful projects like this farmers market are part of that sustainable economy. And the third thing we have to work on is renewable energy. There should be biodiesel programs set up so people can do biodiesel conversions. We should have biodiesel access at our fueling facilities around here. We have to take advantage of the solar and the wind power that's naturally here in South County. I would do residential ordinance changes to allow that type of thing. We need to get people, wean them off the grid wherever possible. And so I think those three things are really going to go a lot towards improving the quality of life in South County.
We're at the Richmond Farmers Market on the green of the Richmond Town Hall in Richmond, Rhode Island. Being able to interact directly with the community is so important for farmers because it allows us to talk about the issues of sustainable agriculture and buying local and why it's so much better for folks to have local produce in their diet.
Richmond has a long tradition of family farms and local farms and dairy farms. So when you and Tim Kokap came to us 3 years ago and asked for assistance, we couldn't have been happier, and we were proud to work with you and the town council in making this possible. I think we think it's been an outstanding success so far.
And we really appreciate the effort that the town put in to support this from the very beginning. Without that town support, we probably wouldn't have been able to be as successful as we are. And people don't realize that there are a lot of farms here in Rhode Island, but we're not big corporate farms like you might find in the Midwest or in California. These are small, family-run operations. And a lot of times, the only way that they do get to interact and to sell is to be able to come to a farmer's market like this and interact directly with the community.
I love the idea that we have access to organic and local produce. Why should we be paying these large agricultural operations on the other side of the continent? We're paying for their fuel, we're paying for their energy costs, when we can spend almost the same amount of money and get stuff that's locally produced, that's organic, and it's helpful to local business.
This is my second year at the farmers market, and for me it's an excellent way for me to network with people in this community, to let them know that I'm here as a working artist. A lot of artists work quietly in their studios and they don't have an opportunity to meet a lot of their community and let them know what they're doing and the creativity that's going on in the area. So it's a great way for people to know what I'm doing and expose them to what's available, the products that I do and the work that I do. I've met a lot of my neighbors that aren't even aware of what I have to offer them as far as commissions and artwork, and I know that there's a lot of other talented artists in this area as well.
One of the things that I really like about your farmers market and what you've been doing is you provide weekly email alerts to people and tell people what kind of educational opportunities are taking place here. And you've done environmental days. I know you've done special focus groups, and you're educating families, not just supplying them with fresh produce.
You know, Larry, you're absolutely right. One of the main thrusts of the Richmond Farmers Market is to provide an educational tool to the community. And we do that by bringing in various folks, whether it's talking about composting or environmental alternatives to fuel, or doing movie screenings, or doing workshops where we teach about backyard gardening so that folks can use these principles in their own backyards. And by doing that, it just creates an atmosphere where we are expanding into every home and every family in the community about these principles that I think are so important.
Yeah, I think of the Charlestown, the worm ladies of Charlestown, the vendors who are selling the earthworms and the composting materials, and I think that's a wonderful way to take what you're doing here, the good things, and bringing it into each individual household. And those types of principles are being instilled to our local families, and this it's only going to build.
It's really been enjoyable. It's kind of show the children what what comes from the farm, that you don't have to go to Stop and Shop to buy vegetables. And we're here with the alpacas. They're an animal that you don't have to slaughter for the end product. They're basically raised for fleece in the United States, which makes beautiful, beautiful clothing. It's warmer than wool and softer than cashmere. They were imported in this country about 27 years ago. And there's many, many, many alpaca breeders in the United States. And we're just one of them. And we're in Hopkinton, Rhode Island, and we have an alpaca farm store, and we welcome visitors to the farm.
One aspect of a sustainable economy is trying to make the best use of the resources that you have. And we could see that this space was underutilized. So the farmers market comes here on Saturday mornings, and it's been an outstanding success. We added another aspect to this recently. This past summer, we organized free concerts here on the green called Richmond Live. And we were getting crowds of 50 and 60 people to come and enjoy some bluegrass music and some contemporary music. So we like the idea that we can use this space and people don't have to travel even as far as Westerly or Charlestown. If they want to get some live music, they can stay right here in Richmond. And we think that that kind of leads into the whole sustainable idea of keeping things close and keeping things local and taking advantage of the resources that you have.
Plan the trip to Japan alone. Who cares even if I go?
We're trying to get a little spirit going in the village, which has been developing for the last 10 years. And this is sort of a culmination of it. We want to see the bandstand be built and get some shrubs around it, some trees planted, and have some more music. Well, the village has been here since the late 1600s and early 1700s. The train came through in 1837, which is the main line between Boston and Washington, and that really spurred the development of the village. There were 225 employees here at one point, 4 supermarkets, 4 little grocery stores, baseball teams, dances in this hall right here. There were minstrel shows. Gone with the Wind opened in this hall in 1939. And there was always events here. And the village was a hub because the train stopped at all the stations between Westerly and Kingston. And people would come down as far as from Lowell, Massachusetts and attend shows here at the hall. My real vision in the next 10 years is the lower Shannock waterfall is going to become a park. And that's where the representatives and the state people could help us, which they have been. We'd like to see a real park there for canoeists and for hikers right down there. And I'd like to see this continue, but not necessarily to build the old hall. If we can, that'd be fine, but I think this is working just great. I could see like someday maybe having one train filled with musicians leaving New York City and stopping in Shannock.
I'm here with Donna Angel, who's a Charlestown resident and who's one of the people behind this Shannock Festival. I was fortunate enough to serve with you on the Richmond Zoning Board many years ago.
Yes.
And you were the chair.
Yes.
And I was the zoning clerk at the beginning, and then I became a zoning member.
An A1 alternate that we could always rely on. Always did his homework, always ready when we needed him.
The thing that I've taken away from zoning is how much people appreciate the rural character of this area. They want to preserve the dairy farms, they want to preserve the local farms, the organic farms. People come here for this type of living. They don't want this to turn into a large commercial development or another area for big boxes. They like this type of life.
The integrity of the area is what draws people here.
This is such a wonderful venue. We have about 150 people or so here today, and the acoustics here are just marvelous.
I know.
We had tried to do a similar thing this summer called Richmond Live in Richmond on the town green, and I could see us doing something cooperatively. Events at that location and events at this location down the road. I think that would be nice.
Families together, even this is what it's all about.
I think after talking to Sandy and Donna, you get a feel for the quality of life issues associated with this type of sustainable development. I think it's a real tribute to the community involvement of these folks, that they're willing to put their hard work and sacrifice into restoring projects like this. And I would love to do everything I can at the state level to help them and encourage them. And that's why I'd like to be your state representative.